Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is International Master Chain, and I'm doing a 5-minute game commentary with Shredder as my special guest, who is Amon Ambleton. I think everyone knows who he is anyway. So, so he's a pretty strong FE master. He actually got his first international master norm at the World Juniors that just happened recently. So, congratulations to him. That was actually a really impressive result. Felt that he could have gotten more if he performed better at the end, but he had a great start. It's really good to get your first out of the way. So apart from that, he's playing against Dromedar, who is already in IM. So the opening, I think it's kind of Nimzo. I think it's a Nimzo. So this is an interesting move for Yushin. 94. I actually don't really see 94 too often. I mean, just go back. He plays F3, and I think White should be okay here. He has the bishop pair. And really in this line, if Black doesn't really get anything on the king side, it's kind of tough for him to play later on because the bishop pair, of course. So obviously, what Black's going to do is play c5, so try to open up the position, try to get something going. But I mean, if White plays normally and pieces get traded off, he should find himself with a slight advantage for the most part. So 96, the point of 96 is obviously pawn d4. And one move that you can play is queen f2, or just take it. I'm not too sure about taking it, actually. Yeah, I think pawn takes in d5, and I mean, Black's going to have a very strong center. I'm not sure if it's actually possible to hold it, but I mean, the center is the center. So with rook b1, he's starting to play b4, and really Black has stopped b4 with a5. Otherwise, I mean, he's going to get b4 and yeah, there you go. If he gets b4 and then he gets b5 in, then he gets bishop b2 in, and his bishop becomes fairly strong. So in this case, I would recommend probably bishop f1, or not b5, because bishop f1 next move. Because the thing is, most likely, Black's going to have to play like g6 or something to play d5. Otherwise, he can't really take back with a pawn. And he can't play e5 either, because, he can't really play e5 without losing the pawn on f5. So actually, so g6, there you go. And so he's probably going to play e5 or d5 next move. Not too sure which one he's going to choose to play, but most likely it'd probably be, I would say it's e5, just because you can't really play d5 right now. Yeah, so he has to play e5. If he plays d5, this pawn c5 might hang. So now Black has quite a strong center. Probably his next move is going to play e4. Yeah, so to get out of the way, plays bishop f1. Just get out of the way of the pawn e4, because then Black's going to try to open up the position, and then his light squares are going to become very strong. So yeah, that's a really safe way to go about things. So I still think that White does have a slight edge here, just because of this weak pawn d6. He actually was never able to play d5, so that's a slight problem. So I mean, in hindsight, it seems that d takes c5 was a good move then, because if you can't play d5, this pawn d6 is always going to be weak. I mean, now now with this kind of idea, probably doubling on the d file is probably a good idea, and as long as he doesn't really give Black too much space on the king side, should be fine. This knight c3, knight d5 maneuver is kind of interesting, because you can't really take back on d5, right? But get your knight in the center and give yourself one more piece to go with. G5 f4 is actually, that's what I was going to talk about next. G5 f4 is a really good idea by Black, because he really needs to get this now on d4. And there was no way he's going to get this now on d4 without opening up this e pawn, because this e3 pawn is protecting pawn d4. So in a way, he takes away the defender from e3, and now he has a permanent knight on d4, which is actually very annoying, because now he can actually play, I think he can play knight d4 right now, or yeah, knight e8 is safer. Knight d4 is some tactical tricks, maybe not safe there. But yeah, after knight d4, I mean, this is going to be a very strong knight on d4. And I'm not sure exactly how White's gonna take care of this. Just because, I mean, if once you get it on d4, then he's gonna probably take on d5 soon, and here queen e4. So you can't take on d5 yet, just because of bishop c4. But g7, so knight takes f3, so that's a threat. So he has to play king h8, which should be played soon. Although he actually has knight takes f3 threats, so yeah, Black has a bunch of threats here. I'm not sure if this is the best line for White here. Yeah, he has a bunch of threats. I'm not too sure exactly if this is going to be okay here. King h1, then takes f3. Pawn takes f3 and queen h3, which should win. Here knight e2, he pretty much hedge sack it. I think this is actually the best way to go about things, because actually I think he could have done queen h3 here. Queen h3 look very strong, because the idea of queen h3 is just queen h6 g2 mate, and I think that he could have gotten a lot of stuff with queen h3 instead. But yeah, so regardless, he decides to go for the exchange. So yeah, so he has the exchange, but I think that white does have some compensation here, just because he has the pair of bishops and knight f6. That's a interesting move actually. Knight f6, so he can't really takes that one. So bishop takes f6. So bishop takes b7, b7 rook g6, and probably rook c2, defending the pawn on g2. I think white is defending here. Black still has to watch out for tricks, but white's defending so far, and bishop d8. That's kind of cool. So rook takes h2, bishop takes c7, bishop d5 with a pin. That's a very cute way to go about things. So queen g6 is probably the best move here, just to threaten mate once again. Probably he got to answer queen c2, and after obviously trade. I think probably black is still winning. So yeah, this has been an interesting game. I thought that white was fine for the most part, but after playing f4, get his pawn e3 away, black has just been on the roll. Like black has been better for most of the game. So here's an interesting continuation now. He can choose to take on c7 and then play bishop d5, and then no, actually go queen e6. So it's not so good. So yeah, queen e6 is probably the best way to go about this. It's actually, yeah, it's probably the best way to go about this. But what happens if you play queen g6? Not sure actually. I think queen g6 was just winning almost. But yeah, I don't know. I think that white really has to trade off a pair of queens here actually, because black's just made him pretty much. Doesn't do anything. Yeah, so queen g6, and I don't know. I mean, how's he gonna defend this? Can't play rook c2 because queen takes c2, and gotta play g4 kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not the best game here. Yeah, I think that white is in some deep crap hole of trouble. Yeah. So yeah, so white's pretty much in trouble here. I don't know what's going on. So f takes g3 or queen e3 check. Oh, so he's gonna pick up the rook and stuff. So this should be game actually. Yeah. So unfortunately, this wasn't the best game to see, but it's still pretty instructive. The f4 idea kind of missed idea. So apparently this is wasn't that bad for black then. Okay, so thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.